Hello and welcome to this interview with Abu. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Pauline Grace and I'm the Master's Programme Leader for Youth and Community Work at Newman University in Birmingham, UK. Abu, do you want to introduce yourself and tell us where you work?
No problem. Hi all, my name is Abu. Thanks for introducing me, Pauline. I work for Positive Youth Foundation, which is based in Coventry. I'm a progress coach there, and I'm also a graduate from Newman University, where I did my Master's.
Brilliant. So can you tell us a little bit more about your organisation and what kind of work you did before COVID-19?
Okay, look, so Positive Youth Foundation is a charity based in Coventry. We deliver 6 different types of programs. One of the programs that I work on is called the RAP program, which stands for Raising Aspirations. The Raising Aspirations program. It works with young people who are not in employment, education, or training, commonly known as NEET, and also young people who have been on reduced timetables in their school. So we're supporting young people through their process of going through school, as well as working with any young person who is NEET, supporting them to get back into education, employment, or some sort of training, such as an apprenticeship. The organisation itself also delivers some of the structure stuff that I do, but they also deliver youth work whereby we have open access youth sessions, sports sessions, creative arts. One of the ways that the organisation sustains itself is by drawing in funding to deliver the programs that need to be delivered, i.e. Programs with outcomes, which a lot of people like. However, we also build some sort of surplus, which we then kind of reinvest back into the community to deliver open access sessions, which a lot of funders don't tend to do these days. So your open access sessions such as Tuesday football night, whereby we engage like 90 to 100 young people that come into Sydney Street School.
Wow.
Those are free access sessions for young people. So, you can't really get funding for things like that. So we build a surplus in order to run those kind of sessions.
That's an interesting business/charity model. And you're right, lots of kind of open access work has disappeared. So prior to COVID-19 and lockdown, I guess you were busy.
Yeah, we were. We tend to deliver something along the lines of between 60 to 100 sessions per week, all over Coventry itself. It's mainly we're near the city centre, but my program specifically hasn't been affected so much by COVID-19 purely because youth employability is a kind of individualized, tailor-made program. There isn't a one-size-fits-all. So each young person is given one-to-one support. We do have some group sessions because it's one-to-one support. We can still do Zoom calls or call them via telephone and then support them through the individual action plans, which is individualized. So, for example, a young person may want to become, say, a bricklayer. Now, in order to become a bricklayer, the route that they would take, or the journey they would take, is completely different to a young person who wants to become a motor vehicle mechanic. Or someone who wants to go into creative arts. Those are different routes, and you could individualize a program to kind of support them even through this crisis, through video calling, sending them their resources online, working with them through the resources, through video calls and stuff like that. So I haven't been furloughed, which is good. Some other colleagues had to be furloughed purely because if they're running sessions for 50 to 60 young people, you can't really deliver that via a group call and stuff like that.
Okay, I'm really pleased to hear that you're still in there, still employed, still doing the work and stuff. So can you talk us through how you responded to the lockdown and COVID-19 then? Did you move all of your work online or was it all online already?
So I think Rashid Bhai, our CEO, and as well as the senior management team, they kind of took, when they heard about COVID-19, how it was locking down the country, they took proactive steps right from the beginning. The program I deliver, it's mainly done remotely. However, the two major funders for the program, they require something called wet signatures, which is, are you meeting a young person and they need to physically sign the paperwork. They've allowed us to do the paperwork online and securely via our laptops and stuff like that. And once the lockdown does come to an end, hopefully within the next few weeks or so, we will then meet the young person and they will sign and date and everything that has been done so far, right from the beginning itself.
Wow. Okay. So you do this one-to-one tailored kind of work, and have you found that young people are okay to engage with that online rather than face-to-face with you, or has it been difficult?
So, speaking personally from my perspective, youth employability, it's the first time I've done something like this previously when I was doing youth work, it was a lot of open access sessions. Young people would volunteer and come to your sessions. In the last 3 years, what I find is the young people I've worked with are, I would deem as the hidden young people, young people that do not engage in our services, engage in youth services at all. That's the reason why you've got so many young people who are worklessness, and they're not the serious thing. There's something called young people being economically inactive. So when young people go to, say, the job center, they're statistically put on the services and then they're supported. There are so many young people who don't have the confidence to kind of engage with providers such as that. They don't engage with ourselves. So Coventry itself, because it's so saturated with so many youth employability programs, we get the young people that are the furthest away from any form of engagement. Those young people that we work with, it's about coaxing them and bringing them into the service. And one-to-one support is possibly the best way of doing it. They won't engage in any group activities or anything like that. That's the reason why some of them have engaged really well during the lockdown period. There's obviously some young people who don't really want to engage with it for whatever reason. They never went to school, they never went to college, they don't want to be engaged with any kind of services. So this is like a blessing for them in a sense. But what we try to do is we try to engage the parents and say to them, oh, this is the route that's set for them. Would you like me to engage me? Would you like me to do the sessions face to face or on the telephone and stuff like that? All of these kind of things are put in place for them to make it easy for the young person. But at the same time, it is up to the young person to kind of engage with us. But what we try to do is we call them every day, or we'll call them at least once a week to see how they are, how their mental health is. We measure their journey using both one-to-one, something called an individual action plan, which is something you meet right at the beginning to see what their journey is going to look like. And we measure their kind of mental health and their kind of development regarding worklessness or education using both something called a SHREM, stands for the Short Warwick Edinburgh Wellbeing Scale, and as well as something called a Work Star, which will kind of gauge where they are in a sense. So what we then do is we get information which is both qualitative, so you could write a case study and say where the in-person journey is, because it's problems with engagement for a young person. As well as that, you can statistically look at where the development has been in regards to, I don't know, their mental health, their physical health, their educational aspirations, their motivation, and quite a number of other things that are quite vital in order for them to kind of get into some form of education or training.
So how do you feel about that change in the emphasis of the way that you work then, from this kind of open access, young people voluntarily engaging, to the work that you do now? Because they are very different, aren't they?
It's much more tougher, you know. So what I found was when I first started youth work, it was just seen as a laugh, and you know, you go and engage in people, and you know, whether it's in the park or whether it's in the youth centre, and then you'll deliver your programs, whatever it may be. This was in the heyday. I did kind of also struggle with that, because when I first came into, after I graduated, I'd asked my managers, well, where is the learning? How are we measuring what our impact is? Majority of the old school workers would be like, well, we don't need to do that. We're engaging in people, keeping them off the streets, blah, 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 that should be fine. And I kind of left that in a sense, and I carried on running with the program. Since 2008, when the financial crisis hit, more and more youth programs and funders are much more stringent. They want to see measurements. They want to see how much bang they get for their buck, in a sense. So what I found was, when I came and worked with, when I joined PYF in 2016, and I was part of the program, it was a different change altogether. I think progress itself it takes best parts of both worlds. So it takes both the engaging young people, because our program stuff, it's not structured where we're told to do certain things. We can still engage young people the way how we want to engage them, i.e. open access youth work. But what we have to then do is put in different ways of engaging and keeping them in access to the sessions themselves and measuring their journey itself, which itself is a good way of kind of saying, well, this is my worth as a worker, and this is what I've achieved with these young people.
And do the young people play a part, like an active part, in that measurement where they're at? I mean, how do they respond to being measured, I guess is what I'm asking.
So the first thing is, you know, when the individual action plan is first done, Pauline, what we need to do is gauge where they want to go. The
Mm-hmm.
paperwork is quite long and stuff like I'll show it to you because we've only got a short time of this video.
Yeah, yeah.
But the paperwork itself, it's pretty straightforward where the young person will see their journey through the course of the program itself. Now,
Okay.
the Shredder itself, it's only 6 questions that we use. These
Okay.
6 questions, when we ask them at the beginning, we ask them to think about how they felt during the last 2 weeks. And we also kind of we kind of reassure them that this measurement itself is not a measurement to see something's wrong with them or anything like that. It's more to do with a measurement of the worker itself. Because
Right.
if I've measured a young person and at the beginning they have said they're feeling close to other people and they put a 5, which is the highest. Now 3 months down the line, they've turned around and said to me, I've asked them the same question again because you do this every 3 months. They turn around and say, no, actually it's for 2 now. Questions then need to be asked. First of all, why that change happened, whether it's me that's affected and whether it's the service or whether something else has happened. If it's something else has happened that's outside of my control, I can then bring in other services such as CAMS or mental health team or whoever it may be to support this young person to kind of find out what the issues are and possibly put some cognitive behavior therapy in or wherever it may be that this young person will need.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you. And how have you been coping in terms of being a youth worker in COVID-19 times?
It's, our job is a social job. I find it quite tough. The first 3 weeks was a laugh. I was like, yeah, you might feel right, I'm working from home. But, you do get bored because our job is a social job. It's about interacting with people. When you're interacting with people via FaceTime and stuff like that, it's good, but it's not, you don't see the physical kind of contact. Being able to kind of communicate and have groups of young people and bouncing conversations off each other. Can't do that neither. I've taken it, so some of the things that we've tried to do is I do yoga with a group of my young people. So we'll send them a Zoom call. We'll do yoga together. We'll also do like fitness and stuff like that. We do gardening. So I do a bit of gardening in my own garden, and I'll get the camera and I'll ask the young people to kind of show what they're doing, and we'll just kind of we'll do like a 45-minute session or a half an hour session. But it's more of a catch up. And yeah, the young people have been helping me just as much as I've been helping them.
I love it. I like the creative response and the kind of we're using what you've got available. So yeah, yoga, gardening, fitness, all of those things. And I guess that's a youth work kind of way, isn't it? We often use young people's or our own interests and passions to be as a starting point. Love that. Thank you. Is there anything else you'd like to share with the audience at the moment about, youth work in the age of COVID-19?
I think it's going to change, with our kind of community-based sessions. Unless a vaccine is found, with our community-based sessions, they will never go ahead again for a long, long time. Now, one of the things I found when you're engaging in people in smaller groups, it's beneficial for them. However, you can't do mass engagement on whatever it may be, sports or youth club sessions, stuff like that. Things like that will be kind of confined to history very soon if we don't find a vaccine in a sense. At the same time, it's about how creative you can be. So myself and the guys in my team and stuff like that, we try and bounce off different ideas. We'll run different types of sessions. So there's dance. Like I said, I do the yoga and the gym sessions, the gardening and things like that. So you have to try and find different ways of engaging in people. However, the moving forward when we do get back from COVID, we are kind of discussing, because our programs are quite structured, i.e. the Youth Employability Program I deliver, we will try and kind of engage in people through this kind of method, through FaceTime and stuff like that, i.e. to save money on finances, save money on staff timing, because a lot of young people on our program, they can be a bit iffy when it comes to turning up for their appointments or calling up last minute and cancelling and stuff like that. So that's something that we're thinking about doing. And when it does come to open access youth sessions, my colleagues have kind of discussed, so we might have smaller group sessions and young people will come in, they'll deliver the session, they'll have their masks, they'll have gloves on, and then once they're finished, they'll get like a half an hour slot, they leave through another door, we wipe the whole centre down again, and then we let another group of 5 to 6 young people in and stuff like
Wow.
that.
I know.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, because if you're running a 3-hour session and you're spending 10 to 15 minutes cleaning up after a 20-minute, half-an-hour session, what happens is the young people kind of lose, with hours and stuff like that. As well as you're spending more time cleaning, which means you're spending less time, i.e., most importantly, working with young people, but also completing the paper that needs to be done.
Sure.
It is what
And
it is, I guess.
I guess out in communities as well, especially BAME communities.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been adversely hit by
Yeah.
like deaths and people catching the virus and stuff. Have you noticed any particular impact on your work?
Yeah. So the majority of young people I work with come from low socioeconomic backgrounds. So we are talking about the BAME young people that come from that community, but also working class young people as well, white young people. So the young people that I work with in Coventry, predominantly who are on the youth employability programs, family come from a white background.
Okay.
Now the young people may not be suffering, but their parents are, i.e., their mental health. When it comes to like shopping and stuff like that, whereby if you are from a low socioeconomic background, you tend to buy food that is easily cooked because the parents are working and stuff like that and whatnot. Now, the young people, their health itself has been affected. Their mental health has. There's been a lot more issues around, young people having a fallout with their parents.
Sure.
Now, and I work part-time in those now, and I found that they've kind of discussed this being the epicenter of the virus itself. Quite a few young people that we work with, or young people who previously used to come to the youth centre, their parents have passed away because of COVID-19. But it's something that, as a community, the way how our communities are structured, because we tend to have more than one generation living in one household, it's just the way how it's always been, in a sense. It might be something we need to kind of look at and possibly change, but then it's a cultural shift, and as well as that, it's a financial shift. I mean, if you can only afford to live in one household and there's 3 generations living there, you can't exactly go buy another house and kind of move out and stuff. It doesn't really work.
Not at all, no. And some people would say there's lots to learn about having an intergenerational household anyway, that's the way forward rather than not. So, yeah. Oh, thanks, Abu, for taking all of this time out.
No problem.
I know you're a busy bunny.